Laura, so you've gotten to the part of your clothing business research where you're wondering how much you really need to start your new clothing business. Luckily, since I already promised to show you how to start your clothing business in 30 days, I'll let you in on a lot today. If this is the first time you're seeing this channel, welcome to the How to Start a Clothing Business series. Today is day 7 of the series, and we'll be looking at how much it really takes to start a clothing business as a beginner. In the last video of the series, we looked at everything you need to start your new female clothing business as a beginner. If you haven't seen that, it's linked to the description box, and at the top right corner of this video, join the 1 million plus business owners who have seen and benefited from that video. But here's a summary of what we discussed in that video. First, we looked at the must have clothing essentials, then must have supplies for your packaging, must have supplies for your shipping, and lastly, the supplies you need for your clothing business promotion. In today's video, we'll be looking at the necessary things you need to pay for to start your business. Think of this video as a continuation of the last video with a bit more information. The first thing we'll do today will be debunking the myth of starting a profitable clothing business with zero capital. I know you've seen videos like that promises you that you can start your clothing business with zero capital. So you're about to find out if it's actually possible. Next, we'll look at a breakdown of the legal setup costs of running your clothing business, aka what you need to pay for as long as the legal part of your business is concerned. Next, we'll look at a breakdown of the branding cost of your new clothing business, then a breakdown of the product costs of your clothing business. Next, we'll look at a breakdown of the packaging and storage costs of running your business. And finally, the marketing cost of running your new clothing business. Just like in the last video, I'll leave some recommendations that will make things a lot easier for you. When my team and I first started working with one-on-one clients who wanted to start their fashion businesses, whenever we'd go on to give them a breakdown of everything they needed to start their businesses, most of them will make remarks like, so why is it that most video online says that you can start a clothing business with zero capital? There's a particular client whom we shall call Bianca. I can't forget our conversations because she told me how she had been into dropshipping at the time because of videos she saw online. And long story short, it wasn't as glamorous or capital free as she had been told. She was sold the idea of starting a business with zero capital. But I'm telling you this in this video that if you have been sold that vision or you know someone who has and they believe it, it's a complete lie. You can't start any business, especially a physical product business, with zero capital. You may start with a little capital and scale over time, but you cannot start with nothing. If you don't have a business capital, I suggest that you start doing extra jobs on the side or get a job that will actually fund your business till you can confidently stand on your own. Think about it. If any of your favorite clothing brands started with zero capital, you wouldn't even know about them today. For the remainder part of this video, I will assume that you have a capital and that you want to build a reputable clothing company, not just a little side hustle business. On that note, let's move on to the part 2 of this video. You need to pay for some necessary legal essentials if you want to start right. And I say start right because you don't want to start your new clothing business with lawsuits or breaking any laws now, do you? The first thing you need to pay a lawyer for would be your business name registration. In one of our previous videos in the series, I mentioned a client that we had from Ethiopia who almost committed a federal offense because she nearly used a business name that was banned in the country. It's the duty of the lawyer to ensure that your business name is not breaking any laws and that they are free to use. Next, you need to register your business as either LLC or any other corporate entity permitted for businesses in the country that you want to start your business in. The reason for this is to separate you from your business legally to avoid being affected by any unseen situation that might arise in the future. I don't have a fixed amount for this. However, you could reach out to a lawyer and they will tell you how much you actually need for this. But I would say keep a small portion of your budget for this. Lastly, you need to pay for your business trademark. I believe everyone knows that trademarking your business name, your business slogan, or anything else that you want to trademark is not free. So you need to allocate a flexible portion of your capital for this part. Luckily, knowing the percentage that you need to set out for your capital and budgeting it so that each part of your business is covered is part of what you'll be taught in week one of the Start Your Business program. It's a 7 weeks program that shows you how to start your fashion business, even as a complete beginner to a pro by the end of the program. I'll leave the link to where you can learn more about the program in the description box. Branding, the part of your clothing business that everyone sees. It's the image of your business that speaks when you're not available to talk about your business. So, the first thing you need to pay for when it comes to your business branding is your social media presence. While having an account on social media is free, completely free, you still need to pay for things like your logo and your media kits for your social media account or your social media page. Now, if you don't think you need to pay a professional to make a great logo and branding kit for you, it's fine. You could do it yourself by using an app like Canva. There are templates and kits that you could start with on Canva. But if you're serious about your branding and you want a professional to handle it, since it's the first impression people will have of your brand, you need to pay a graphic designer who can make your business logos. Another thing I would say you need with the graphic designer would be a social media manager or a social media team. Having one is not necessary, but it's the best investment if you can afford it. The graphic designer and the social media manager or the social media team will work together to come up with your brand's identity. You find these creatives on websites like Fiverr, Upwork, or even social media if you look well enough. But if you need creatives that we personally have thoroughly vetted, you get those when you join our Start Your Business program. You get the contact details of graphic designers, you get the contact details of social media managers and branding agencies that can bring your brand's vision to life. Next, you need a website. A client that I worked with sometime last year, let's call her Susan, right? So she said she preferred to sell only on social media, specifically Instagram. According to her, it was a platform that she was familiar with and that's what she preferred. Now, I didn't argue with her because here at TFB, we never argue with our clients' decision. We just offer our professional advice, and if they choose to ignore it, we let it be. Anyways, down the line, at the end of last year and the beginning of this year, during the time that Instagram was on a permanent account disabling rampage, her main account and the next 3 or 4 backups that she created was severely affected. When she reached out to me to share her predicament, I was really sad. Honestly, I was very sad because we both knew that she would have to start from the beginning. But the worst part was she had about 5 leads that she was about to receive payments from that we both knew she would never be able to reach back to because she didn't even know their handles. The process of trying to appeal the account disabling decisions on all the accounts took forever and it still ended up fertile. In that time, I advised her to, just create a TikTok page or a TikTok account and start all over from there. She had the experience and she could just replicate what she had already been doing on her Instagram. After a short time on TikTok, things started picking up for her. But this time, she heeded my advice and got herself a website. And so far, everything has been good. So, this is to you now. All physical products, particularly your clothing business, needs a website. So invest in those. Next, and this is if you want a custom line clothing business, the branding cost you have to consider is tech pack designs. For this, you need a designer, but not just any designer. You need a fashion illustrator to get the exact designs that you want in your clothing line down to the T. Different illustrators charge differently, so you need to find one who fits in your budget and work with them. I believe you get the contact details of some recommended fashion illustrators when you join the Startup Business program as well. But if you're a creative and you want to do it yourself, there are softwares and apps that you could use. They are not free though. So set aside money from your business capital for this part. The products here are the clothes. So how much do you need to buy the clothes? Before we even get into that, you need to make sure that you have manufacturers that you can use for your clothing business. And that's where sourcing manufacturers comes in. Without a clothing manufacturer, knowing the cost of buying the clothes is actually very irrelevant. Luckily for you, I know the exact place that you can find the contact details of manufacturing companies. I'm talking about direct factories that you can buy the clothes from or produce your piece with. These factories are all located in China. In each of these business kits, you'll find the contact of both custom clothing line manufacturers and wholesale clothing manufacturers that you can buy any clothes in any of these niches from. I'll leave the link of this website for you to go and check it out in the description box. Now that you've gotten the manufacturers that you need to order samples. I usually tell my clients that you need to order samples to make sure a manufacturer gets all your design specifications, especially if you're running a custom line clothing business model. As far as how much you need for this, I'll say it depends on the manufacturers. And then it also depends on the type of clothes you want, the designs or style of the clothes, and especially your negotiation skills. Nobody can really say how much you can use to start your clothing business because no two business owners have the exact same experience. I've had a client who wanted to buy a particular bodycon mesh dress and they got it for way lower than another client who wanted the exact same dress. So, what changed? The materials and the dresses were the exact same. The manufacturer that they both used was the exact same manufacturer, but they each got different deals because of the negotiation leverage that they chose to use. So, in these business kits, there is a business guide that teaches you how to work with manufacturing companies. As a beginner, whatever you think you don't know, multiply by three because what you will learn from the guide is eye opening. The experiences that were discussed or that are discussed in the business guide are personal to all our partners here at TFB. So you're going into your business armed with enough business secrets coming from people with lots and lots of years of experience. You know where to find the link to these kits in the description box. The next thing you need are inventory for your business. For most clients, they order these in very few quantity, which I recommend when you're starting out because you don't want to have dead stocks on your hand. And getting very few inventory of different style or color of the piece that you want or the pieces that you want prevents that. The amount you spend here depends on your negotiation and it varies per business owner. For the packaging and storage costs of running your new clothing business, I recommend some must have essential supplies. The first one is clothing tags. If you're launching your own clothing line, having your clothing tags with your logo or branding offers a nicer touch to the clothes. There are different types of tags that you could get depending on the type of clothes you're selling. And I happen to know a couple of custom packaging manufacturers who deal specifically in clothing tags. They offer quite a large range of tags that you could choose from. They work well with beginners like yourself, and their contact details are in these business fashion kits that I'll be linking in the description box. The next thing you need will obviously be tagging guns. You need them for the tags. It's not possible to add tags to the clothes without these. So you can find them in your local supermarket, or I suggest that you try Amazon. The prices of the tag guns are obviously listed there. Next, you need poly bags. Poly bags come in different sizes and variations. So if you're on a budget, you can opt for the transparent kind. If you want something more personal to your business, I suggest you go for the custom ones. You could draw inspiration from Pinterest or TikTok and then send them to the manufacturers in the kit to replicate for you. Next, you need custom boxes. This is optional, but it's ideal for people who are willing to invest in their brand's packaging. Having a custom box with your brand's logo or slogan written on it elevates your brand's appearance and vibe. But if you are on a street budget and you cannot afford these custom boxes, you could just stick to the poly bags I recommended earlier. You'll find manufacturers that are specialized in making these custom boxes in the business kits. Then for shipping the clothes to your customers, you need to invest in a good label printer and labels. I'll recommend a thermal printer and label, and you can find different brands that you can choose from on Amazon or your local supermarkets. Next, you need shipping boxes. You need to get them in different sizes. Think about customers that want to buy more than one outfit from your store. But remember that these boxes also add weight to your shipping fee if you're using a shipping company to send your clients orders. So include that on your website. Next, you need a measuring scale, you need a custom or transparent tape, and a tape gun. You find all of them on Amazon or you can check your local supermarket. You also see the prices for the ones that you prefer in any of these places. For marketing, the first thing I recommend that you invest in would be social media advertising. If your business is on Instagram, you want to learn how to run ads on Instagram. If it's on TikTok or Pinterest, the same advice applies. I mean, you want to make money from your business, right? If profit is what you really want, which is something that you should want if you're running a business, you shouldn't rely solely on organic marketing. It's good in the long run, but haven't you seen where a piece of content goes viral and then it ends up in the hands of the opposite target audience? Do you want that to be you? Do you want that to be your business? If you can't learn how to run ads, then pay a professional who has been doing it to help you do it. In our Start Your Business program, we will recommend some professionals who will be able to do this for our students. Next, in addition to the social media ads, you need to invest in UGC creators or fashion influencers. I know you see what is happening with the Labubu toys. I personally know some people who bought those toys not because they think it's cute, but because they were influenced by influencers who bought them. Marketing, babes. Marketing. Next, invest in collaborations. Some collaborations are free, but the marketing steps involved in making them successful are not free. So for those type of collaborations, you need to plan out the launch strategy that you need to get your business in the eyes of your ideal customers. In our Start Your Business program, particularly in the final week, you will learn about different successful launch strategies that all our one on one clients have used to launch their different fashion businesses successfully. So, if you're serious about starting your clothing business the right way, I urge you to join the program. Now, it's not for everyone. And that's what I always say in all of our videos. That program is not for everyone. And the reason why I always say that is because the curriculum of the program is designed in a way that whoever passes through it can confidently launch and scale not just the business they hope to launch with the program, but subsequent businesses because you're now equipped to be a successful business owner. The program starts in August and it's a 7 weeks program. The link to it is in the description box where you can learn more about it. However, if you have questions about it, feel free to reach out to us using any of our social media handles in the description box. The team in charge of responding to your inquiries are extremely quick and they are very thorough to answering your questions. We have a newsletter that I invite you to join. You get tips, you get updates on all our offers, you get freebies, you get exclusive news before our community here sees or hears about them. I'll leave the link to it in the description box too. In the next video, which is the day 8 of the series, I'll be discussing how you can find manufacturers for your new clothing business as a beginner. If you have any questions so far, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm always happy to reply them and I look forward to all your questions. Thank you for making it this far into the video. I see you now and I'll see you in the next video. Laura.